Solve Industrial Motion Group burst onto the industrial landscape 4 years ago in a world that remained upended by a global pandemic. The North Carolina-based company, renamed following PT International's combination with IPTCI Bearings and LMS Bearings, debuted its new moniker in November 2020. It was subsequently acquired by private equity firm Audax, then acquired SST Bearing, MasterDrive and Bearings Limited, as well as added a new distribution hub in its native Charlotte. Earlier this year, the company also welcomed a new chief executive. Ernie Lauber, who spent 2 decades at Danaher prior to roles at JBT and Park Ohio, took the helm of the company in June. Lauber joins Industrial Distribution to discuss his first months on the job and where Solve is headed from here. Thanks so much for joining us. You've been on the job now for a little more than 3 months. I guess just to start off, what drew you to the company, and how has the initial transition to CEO gone?
No, I tell you, it's been an exciting 3.5 months. And what I often say, it feels like 3.5 years, but from an extremely positive lens. And it starts with why I came here. We're trying to create a platform, a one-stop shopping, for engineered bearings and power transmission solutions, and seeing how the industry needs that type of solutions provider, end-to-end solutions provider, and also seeing how our employees are open to this. And if Andy, if you're okay, I'm gonna build on that from what I've seen my last 3.5 months. We've basically tripled in size in 3 years. We've in 5 years have become from a $20 million to a just under $200 million platform. And it's now what we need to do is take this amalgamation of 8 strong legacy brands, and then make sure that we've got the right kind of strategy, product positioning, integration to become the best solution provider we can. And I'll end with this piece for now. I'm so excited that our associates and our leadership are excited about what we're calling One Solve, right? But understanding the role of the brands. So
we're in a little bit, just the distribution sector and the industrial sector at large is kind of in an unusual spot right now. How has Solve kind of weathered that? And then how have you kind of addressed that in your first 100 days in charge?
Sure. No, it's a great question. Listen, yeah, the market in the industrial MRO space, break and fix space, and even with OEM, with engineered bearings and such, it's flat to barely growing, right? We're growing, and yes, we've got a lot of acquisitions, but we're growing organically, and how we're doing that is by partnering with our distribution partners on what are the hot verticals in their areas, right? And what we've done since I've come on board, we've moved to a product marketing centric model. You can't just have these GMs of individual bearings brands, because you need to look at this. If you're going to be a solutions provider, you need to look at an entire product category. You need to look at your entire portfolio, right? And what does end-to-end solution provider mean? And where does that scope start? Where does that scope end? And then within the product categories. So we moved to product management. We have been heavily investing in engineering, and we moved engineering to partner with product management under our chief commercial officer. And with that, now there's a partnership, right? And there's one, we just did an innovation ideation workshop 2 weeks ago for our product funnel. But it goes beyond that. It goes to that portfolio analysis that says, okay, what are our organic and inorganic gaps? What are the key verticals? And to get back to your main question too, Andy, around, what value are we offering? Listen, if you're going to be in food and bev and you're going to be focused in poultry, how do you make sure from the end user, like a Tyson, where all their poultry plants are? And then how do you make sure you're with the right distribution partner, and that you understand the value proposition and the pain to give the right kind of solutions, right? So aligning on vertical markets, aligning on the needs of an end user and OEM, And then what distribution partner do you partner with?
All right. So we've talked a little bit about your first 100 days. I'll ask you to look a little bit into the future if I could. Maybe where do you see Solve heading, kind of your immediate priorities next year, and then maybe looking beyond? Where do you see the company moving in 3, 5, however far forward you want to go?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We just at my 3-month mark, I've got some standard work that we do a new leader assimilation, and then we do like a 3-day workshop around organizing on managerial cadence. But most importantly, what is the 3-year vision, right? And then, evolve the vision, evolve the mission, and then have all that tied to strategic initiatives, right? So, and listen, at the end of the day, in 3 years, we want to be 2.5 times larger. It's not about being bigger, though, right? It's about providing solutions. So we evolved our vision statement to be the partner for engineered bearings and power transmission solutions. Nowhere in there do you hear distributor. Nowhere in there do you hear manufacturer. We want to be the end-to-end solutions provider, right? And we want to do that through distribution excellence, both vertical and virtual manufacturing excellence. We do manufacture and do secondary operations in North America. We do have feet on the street all over Asia with virtual manufacturing, but we do it all, right? And we want to make sure that we can do it all. So to that end-to-end provider, it moves down to our mission statement, which leads with making sure that we've got engineered solutions for specific vertical needs. All right. So as we talk about being 2.5 times the size of what we are today, it's understanding the organic gaps that we have in the portfolio to fully service the vertical markets like food and beverage, water, wastewater, doing e-commerce, warehouse, and automation. Those key verticals, and making sure we can support those, and then having the organizational structure to do so, and then making sure that we've got the innovative product road to not just for individual products, but solution platforms to make sure that both from an end user level, from an OEM equipment builder level, and then distribution partners that we're supplying those solutions.